Well, hello there, and welcome to another Sketchbook Sunday. Today we're going to be doing something special, Maya Angelou. So let's get started. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides. Just like hopes springing high, still I rise. Still I Rise is one of my favorite poems by Maya Angelou. She was an absolute badass and a pioneer well before her time, and just like me, I kind of identified with her, and I wanted to pick inspirational, phenomenal people to kind of feature on our special sketchbook Sundays over the next couple of weeks, because as you know, Juneteenth is coming up. It is a national holiday now for African American people, and it is just a celebration of our people. It is a celebration of our ancestors and giving thanks to the people that came before us and that paved the way so that we can just exist, right? So that's why I chose her. And then you guys on Facebook and in the group and all over the place and right here on YouTube, you guys kind of voted for her. You really, and I guess a lot of you resonated with her because she was a phenomenal poet. But a lot of people don't really know that she was beyond being a poet, right? She did a lot of stuff way beforehand. Through her young life, she was a dancer. She was like a nightclub owner. She did so many different things throughout her lifetime. If you could just be a fly on the wall and kind of see what is going on, I think you would be blown away, because I was just blown away just doing the research. And I learned about her a long time ago, but just researching her again and figuring out who she was in her life and just how much impact she's had in the short time that we have on this earth, right? And I'm not trying to get philosophical and morbid, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah, that's kind of why I picked her. That's why I've picked this poem to kind of read out to you. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. But yeah, on to the portrait though. As you can see, we're just chilling, right? It's a chill, laid back kind of paint sesh per per usual. And this is gouache. We're doing acrylic gouache as usual. And so I'm just doing a lot of blocking and, we're just laying down some color. This time I usually go and I put a watered down kind of base in the beginning. But this time I decided to go in and block it in different zones. And I think you can do that if you kind of comfortable with the painting. If you're comfortable with painting, I think you can do that, right? Because then you know where you're going. You already have your colors kind of figured out and yada, yada, yada. So, yeah.
Fool me once, fool me twice. When you're hiding things, might as well be lies. Can you ever get it right? How long will I let this shit fly? Hit up my girls, pull up, I'm outside, waiting by the curb. Too upset to drive you, getting on my nerves. We gon' get lit on this ride. I look too damn good to fight. Don't expect me to come home tonight. Don't worry about me, see you in the morning. Bet you never thought that I would leave. Think I had about enough. Hold up, you could call me on my bluff. I ain't coming, don't wait up. You gon' miss this body. Too late, oh I'm sorry. Bet you never thought that I would leave. Had about enough.
as you can see, I really got into the nitty gritty and took my time with this portrait. Matter of fact, I ended up having a lot more fun with this portrait than I usually do. Because I was like, you know what? Screw it. Yeah, I'm gonna throw caution to the wind, Becky. And I'm just gonna like put down like different colors and I'm just gonna have fun and we're just gonna do different zones, and if it gets messy, it gets messy. I have always been a precision type of painter where, and just, I'm a just realistic precision, anal, like everything has to be in a certain way in a certain time, and you know, you have to draw it a certain way, it has to be this, that. I've always been that way with my art. But lately, in this year, I really like made it my mission to be more loose, be more fun, because I noticed that when I didn't really know how to paint, like I didn't know how to paint, I didn't know anything about color theory, I didn't know really how to draw like that. I was more imaginative. I had so many ideas of how things was going to look. I had so many things kind of percolating my mind about what direction to take my art into. And I really took risk, you know, because I look at some of my old stuff and I'm like, damn, now I would have never done that, because I would have been like so worried, like, oh my God, you know, it doesn't look right for Instagram, or you know, people are gonna be like, oh, holy shit, you know, she's supposed to be a professional painter and her art looks like shit today. But sometimes art just looks like shit. Sometimes even the most, you know, wonderful painters, even Picasso, you know, had bad days, and you know, things just look horrible. So the moral of the story is be loose, be fun, especially with this portrait. Take your time, especially if you're tackling this one. And if you do, tag me on Instagram. I would love to see it, or tag me in the group, Discord, whatever, because I would love to see it. I would love to check it out and give you a shout out in my stories. But yeah, take your time with this. Get loose and goose. Sometimes you just gotta have fun. Sometimes it isn't that serious.
Time before you go. Someday you'll know. Someday you'll know. Already know what I'm going to say. I've been feeling this way for far too long. And now you're gone. Took me away from all of my fears. Kept me away from all of my tears. Now you're gone. And now I'm lost.
Once I got to this stage of the portrait, I struggled quite a bit. Trying to figure out my way and figure out where I wanted to go with things, and if I'm doing too much. You go through that internal struggle, especially as an artist, and especially when you get into the ugly stage of things and things look crazy and you like, shit, this looks like Frankenstein, it's not gonna be finished. And you start to just second guess everything that you're doing, and that was pretty much where I was with this. And with a realistic portrait, and that's if you know, I like to do realistic portraits as the type of artist that I am. Of course, you can do any type of portraiture you want to do, but that's the type of portraits I do. And with realistic portraiture, you get those sort of issues going on where if you make one little wrong move, one little tweak, you know, you move an eye to the left too much, you move, you know, you don't have the right like pose or the right smile or the right da 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 da, it instantly doesn't look like the person. So that's what I kind of went through it with this. So if you're going through the same thing, sis, just know you're not alone. So we made it through most of the ugly stage and the weird stuff. But the eyes is where I really focus a lot of attention. And like I always tell you guys all the time, the eyes are not white. I know they look white, but they're really not white. So I went in with some gray and kind of just popped it in, made it just, you know, bop, bop, bop. And filled it in the best I can. I didn't want to get into too much detail of it. I wanted to, again, stay really, really loose because remember I was telling you guys it was important and imperative for me to stay loose during this portrait. And all I kept thinking was, oh my God, do I have the right colors? And you know, it really doesn't matter what type of gray that you use. I mean, if you mix all the colors together and then you add white, like it'll give you a gray. You can use any combination of colors and get you a gray. You could do a gray blue, a warm gray, a cool gray. There's so many types of different grays that you can actually use. So don't fret over what type of gray. Just keep it loose and keep it goose. And you should be okay. This is the part of the painting where I really started to kind of feel like, oh, damn, what am I going to do with her head tie, her head wrap? You know, it's like traditional African-esque type of head wrap. They used to wear that a lot in the 70s and 60s. Everybody's mom had like a dashiki and a head wrap. So she had a different type of head wrap in the reference photo, but I wasn't sure what I really wanted to do with it. And I knew for sure I didn't want it to be black and white because, as you know, I love me some color. So it was no way I was going to do it in black and white. So I eventually just settled on like a magenta, some blacks, some purples, and just different like elements like that, to make it more like, you know what I mean, like colorful dashikis and head wraps that you usually see on a regular basis. I wanted to kind of make it like that. They usually have really bold, rich colors, so I decided to go with like my pink ink because I have like this wonderful, beautiful ink from I think it's Liquitex Basics has like an ink. It's called an acrylic ink, and its ink is really dope. It's really opaque. It's some good stuff, even though it's permanent. But I ended up going with that. That's what I used on this actual sided headpiece, which is the Quin Magenta, which is my favorite color in the whole wide world. So yeah, I really kind of took my time with this and trying to figure out the different colors that I was going. I was pretty much just winging it, okay? And figuring it out as I went. And just doing what I felt like I wanted to do instead of planning every aspect out of the painting. Like I told you guys, keeping it loose and goose. And then of course, I went for something a little bit darker for the shirt. So yeah. So before we continue, let's have a quick word from our sponsor. If you were looking for some extra help with your art, maybe you need help with drawing, tracing, and composition, or maybe you just need a little one-on-one TLC, you can head over to my Patreon. I have over 100 videos and other materials over there. You can head over to patreon.com/creativegirlcolor. So at this stage of the portrait, she was looking more like Bertha from Cell Block D than Maya Angelou. So I was struggling at this point. But I was making it through, doing little tweaks here and there. That's what it's all about, especially if you're going to be doing some realism. You're going to have some trial and error. It's all about layers, and just doing a lot of different things to kind of push and pull things in whatever direction you feel is going to be comfortable, in whatever direction you feel is going to push it more towards realism, or maybe you just want to make it look like impressionism, like it maybe looks like the person, but it really doesn't look like the person. It's just an impression of, or an expression of that person. So it's all personal preference. I, for one, of course, still struggle with perfectionism and creating, things that look perfect and realism and all the things. So yeah, I kind of struggled at this point with the painting. But I felt good that it was really looking like her. It started to look like her as I pushed through. Another tip that I like to do is you start to get frustrated with a painting, or you feel like it's not really looking, or it's not giving what you think it should give, take a step back, remove yourself from the situation, maybe take a break, go for a walk, get some coffee, tea, wine, whatever, and then come back with it with fresh eyes, maybe the next day or a few hours later, and you will be the more better for it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Getting that signature smile of Maya Angelou that we all like know and love was like super hard. And I kind of struggled through figuring out what it should be and how deep I should put the shadows. Should I make it more, more darker? And then if I make it more darker, it will seem like it's more receding. But if I make it lighter, it will seem like it's not receding enough. It's like a delicate dance you do as an artist to convey the message that you want to convey. That's why I studied really hard, trying to make sure I really knew what I was doing when it came to color theory. I did months and even like a year of just like hardcore going through the motions, remembering the recipes, writing down the recipes, long nights of doing color charts and stuff like that. And even now, I still struggle from time to time, even though I can remember all the different recipes and remember all the different things. Even I struggle where I'm like, I feel like it's so much that I still need to learn. And when it comes to art, like it's a deep well of information, and I'm like digging and digging and digging and trying to get to the bottom. I don't know, but maybe I'm just going through existential crisis, but whatever. You know what I mean. So yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm using this like as a confessional today. It's a confessional sauce. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I really start to think about those things. You start to get inside your head and get inside your mind when you're painting, and those are the things you think about. And for me, this is a release. This is why I'm passionate about it, right? Because I really get inside of my head. It releases all of my passion and demons, and I can really like nerd out about the color and why is it deep? How do I love the color? Let me count the ways. But yeah, the long and short of it is, yeah, I really obsessed over this shit. And in the end, I'm never truly happy with all of my portraits, but I think it's the journey and it's the experience that makes the day, right? And that's it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. This was another phenomenal Sketchbook Sundays. Thank you for spending time with me. Shout out to the patrons. I love you guys so much. And shout out to the Creative Girl crew. If you want to support the channel, you can head over to patreon.com/creativegirlofcolor for more. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.